position of the fact that Enugu is not ready to be an economic hub does not come from a place of that we do not have what we need. It comes from a place of a waste of our latent potential. So I believe before I finish speaking, I would have convinced you that we do have what it takes to be an economic hub. However, in the current status quo, it is not possible unless things change drastically. So I'll be drawing from our potentials to show our weaknesses. And it's important that we know that there's a powerful saying in Igbo land that if a child washes his hands properly, he will eat with his elders. To attain economic excellence, there are things that need to be laid down. There are certain principles that need to be followed. There has to be a deep investment in human capital. In starting, I would like to point you to a very good book that I think everyone should read. It's called The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. By Adam Smith clearly explained that for economic prosperity to continue, that there must be three primary things. A government willing to execute effectively on its policy, a government that has sound policy, and a government that is biased to investing in human capital. Human beings are everything. Now, the drive for man to access wealth, to grow, to be better than he is today, is what propels something we call in economics the multiplier effect. So the multiplier effect basically says that if man is chasing after his own goodwill affects the goodwill of all those around him, therefore prospering the nation. But that's not all. Goodwill is not built on vibes. It is built on accurate execution. And the important thing to note is not about the land being in the hands of God. It's about the execution of the theories that we have to do. So it's important to know that as much as Enugu has all the potential in the world to be the next Saudi Arabia or the next Dubai, it is important to know that in real life, you get 0 points for potential. Potential is useless without execution. And until you begin to execute on the potential you have, it is as good as no potential at all. Now, this is more important than anything. So if you look at Enugu, anyone who is an entrepreneur looks at Enugu and sees Enugu is riddled with problems. And whenever there are problems, there is money. However, money cannot be made without a sustainable economic environment. Now, a sustainable economic environment is the function of the government, not of the people. Now, despite the difficult economic environment, businesses thrive. There are so many. I can't call all the names involved. Now, in spite of all these numerous taxes, levies that businesses are subjected to, even the S1 people that knock on your gate in the middle of the night, think about how this happens with businesses. They see the Enugu State Internal Revenue Service and the FIRS. Now, how are businesses supposed to survive under all this weight? Now, according to the PwC World Bank ease of doing business rankings, Nigeria ranked 156th in that list. Let that sink in. That 155 other countries were doing so well that we were at the bottom, close to the bottom. The list only has about 200 countries. So that gives you a fair, clear picture of exactly where we are going. The lack of investment in human capital is crippling the economy. There are so many things. When Professor Naji was talking, I connected to a lot of things he said. Now, a lot of people do not understand the effect of the deficit in infrastructure. Now, without infrastructure, things cannot begin to move in motion. From little things as much as the railway line that is constantly eroding, access to trade is a very big part of it. Now, you may think you may make $1 million today and it will be worth something tomorrow, but that's a big lie. Inflation is eating at your money, which is why cryptocurrency exists. This is why DeFi platforms like Zen Finance exist, to shield you from inflation. So we need to understand that for change to begin occurring, as much as we are doing the best we can with what we have, it has to start from the top and work its way downward. It is more important than anything to note that the existence of latent potential is not the evidence of future success. There's so much that has to be done in the interim of where we are and where we are getting to. It is important that we know that the economy in which we exist is a digital economy, and a digital economy cannot function without high-speed internet. It is the most important factor anywhere in the world. And the average speed, as the last time I checked in Enugu, was 2 MB per second. Now, with 2 MB per second, there are very little things a creative individual can do. Creative individuals have to go out of their way to pay for high-speed internet above all other things in order to function and access the economy and access the funding that they need. More than anything, young people are not being inspired towards innovation. Innovation, as they say, is what makes the world go round. Now, in spite of the difficulty of our business environments, this is why I am strongly biased to technology, because technology is doing something that governments could not do. They show their workings before they start talking. Now, before you give us promises, before you tell us that this is all the potential we have, we need to see things in action. It's more important than anything. That the individuals who reside within these economies have an enabling environment to begin to grow. And without an enabling environment, nothing is possible whatsoever. I want to tell us a story, a very clear story about a business. Now, in Enugu, there's a primary problem that all of us know. It's access to water. You pay a lot to get water. And the tanker drivers will still be for me bad guy for you. It's difficult, it's terrible, it's nasty, it's brutish. But it is what we live with, it's what we learn to deal with every single day. However, let's say a business came up and they decided that, okay, they are going to stack up and they are going to enable access to water for everybody. So you pay a subscription and water gets delivered to you. And that body goes to register at the CAC and they go to get a license. And then the Enugu State Water Board shuts them down. However, they're not providing water to you. In Igbo land, they call that Igabobo in Boamusu. So this is the kind of economy we live in. So how exactly are we going to become a leading economic hub when human capital in itself is disregarded and not prioritized more than anything? I wouldn't like to shit on my school, but the level of education is abysmal. It's disgusting to see that individuals who are being trained and aspire basically towards regurgitation of information instead of innovating more than anything. Now we go to school and we need to teach ourselves to innovate. No, I'm going this far to explain the extent of the problem. That the society needs an entire overhaul of our value system and the things we hold dear and our approach to solving problems. Now in the university, we are not taught to solve problems. We are taught to regurgitate what they give to you. Now nobody really cares what you think your solution is or how you think we can solve the problem. What they care is, do it how I wrote it down. Put that comma there, put that full stop there. It is about instruction more than fixing the problem. So you see the issue starts from the very top and works its way down to the bottom. It is important more than anything that I do not waste all your time in explaining exactly how difficult it would be for Enugu State to be an economic hub. For Enugu State to be an economic hub, so much has to change. The first thing, more than anything, that has to change is the taxes on medium and small scale enterprises. More than anything, it has to be removed. Now, ordinarily, we live in a very classist society that makes it extremely difficult for businesses to function effectively. Now, Dangote has something called pioneer status, where he doesn't pay tax as much as he should than the rest of us. But your small Bitcoin exchange, FRS is going to knock on your door at the end of every year. By 31st December, they've sent the notice of return. And you're going to pay 30% of everything that you own. Now think about how difficult that will be on your business. Now, if someone is going to knock on your gate tomorrow morning and ask you, where's the dustbin? Why is it not outside? Have you not paid to your 25K? And they're going to carry your lead developer and throw him in the back of the bus. And work is going to close for that day. Your dispatcher is going to be on his way from the New Haven office to UNEC to deliver food to somebody. And police is going to pick him up and throw him in the bus and say he doesn't have a license and he didn't find something for the guys. Now,